Hello, friends! With the days getting shorter and the nights getting cooler, my attention naturally turns to childhood comfort foods like pancakes or French toast. Today's recipe is going to be pumpkin pancakes. I was inspired to make these pancakes by local foodies and Instagram friends John and Carissa at Forks and Trails. I will leave a link to them in the description box if I can figure out how to do it. Carissa's original recipe was vegan and called for sourdough starter. But I didn't have the sourdough, and I only had regular milk that I needed to use up, so this recipe is more a tribute to Carissa's pumpkin pancakes rather than a recreation of her recipe. So let's get started. Now, when I'm making pancakes, I have a certain routine I like to follow, and it starts with taking the butter and maple syrup out of the refrigerator so they can come up to room temperature, or at least not be super cold. I then turn my oven on to 180 degrees Fahrenheit and place 2 plates and a sheet pan in the oven to warm. This is so the pancakes can stay warm as I cook them. You may think I'm being overly fussy, but to me, it's an absolute necessity. There is no way I'm going to put cold pancakes on a cold plate. I mean, there's a reason why pancakes are also called hotcakes. And in addition to that, no one wants to see the crime that gets committed when trying to spread cold butter across a tender pancake. I love the taste of buttermilk in my pancakes, but if you're like me, you don't normally have buttermilk in your refrigerator. An excellent substitute can be made by combining the milk in your recipe with a tablespoon of vinegar and letting it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. In the time it takes for you to get all your other ingredients together and measured out, your buttermilk will be ready. Carissa's recipe also calls for oat flour, which I don't normally keep on hand, but I found out that oat flour can easily be made in a blender by grinding up old-fashioned rolled oats into powdery. 1 cup of rolled oats makes approximately 1 cup of oat flour. So once the buttermilk and oat flour have been made, we are ready to turn our attention to the dry ingredients in the pancake batter. You will need 1 cup all-purpose flour, 1 cup oat flour, 1 cup toasted chopped pecans, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon allspice, 1/2 teaspoon ginger, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Measure these dry ingredients into a large mixing bowl and whisk them until thoroughly combined. This will make sure that there are no large pockets of baking powder or baking soda in the batter and that the salt has been evenly distributed. In another mixing bowl, or a large measuring cup, we want to add our wet ingredients, which are 1 cup of buttermilk, which was made from the 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of vinegar that was mentioned earlier, 3 tablespoons maple syrup, 1 egg, 1/4 cup melted butter or oil, and 1 cup of pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling. Measure all these wet ingredients into a large measuring cup or bowl and take your whisk and combine everything together until it's a uniform color. Meanwhile, you should be heating your pan or griddle to medium heat. This will take about 5 minutes of preheating to get it to the right cooking temperature. I'm using an electric griddle pan with a thermostat, but these pancakes can just as easily be made in a frying pan on top of your stove. The only tricky part of this recipe is mixing the wet ingredients in with the dry ingredients. This mixing operation must be done with a gentle hand and only as long as it takes to moisten all the flour. Do not overmix, otherwise the gluten in your batter can become tough. A few lumps in the batter is perfectly fine. It's better to be cautious and undermix the batter rather than overmix. Now, I need to admit that I didn't follow my own instructions and I forgot to add the star ingredient, the pumpkin puree, until after I had made the pancake batter. But it looked so nice when I folded the pumpkin puree into the batter that I decided to keep the visual and confess to my mistake. Notice I only mix this enough so that there are no more streaks of pumpkin in the batter and that everything is a uniform color. Your pan or griddle should be hot by now and ready to cook, so lightly oil the cooking surface or lightly spray with a non-stick cooking spray. The oiling of the pan is only necessary for the first pancake. After that, your pan should not need additional oil. I use about 1/3 cup of batter for one pancake, which will yield about 9 large pancakes for this recipe. Obviously, the less batter you use per pancake, the more pancakes you'll be able to make. And the more batter per pancake will give you larger and fewer pancakes. Just keep in mind, the larger the pancake you make, the more difficult they are to turn over. Also, unless you're very experienced making pancakes, it's a good idea to space them apart from each other and not pour them too close together. There are a couple of signs that will let you know when the pancake is ready to turn. If a bubble on top pops and only slowly fills in or doesn't fill in at all, and the edge of the pancake has turned from shiny to dull, then that's a pretty good indication that pancake is ready to turn. Using a spatula, gently maneuver it under the pancake and then with a quick motion and in one movement, turn the pancake over. Do not be hesitant, that will work against you. Do it with confidence, and with practice you should be fine. The second side of the pancake will cook much faster than the first side, so be aware of that and don't overcook the pancake. Put the cooked pancakes on the warming tray in the oven and continue cooking the rest of the pancakes until all your batter is gone. Serve these pumpkin pancakes with your favorite toppings. My absolute favorite pancake toppings are butter and pure maple syrup. But a caramel topping with pecans is also good. Maybe whipped cream and sliced bananas is more to your liking. Whatever toppings you choose, these pancakes are hearty and nutritious thanks to the addition of the oat flour. Why don't you give these a try the next time you have a craving for a sweet breakfast treat? If you enjoyed this video, then I hope you will subscribe, click on the like button, and leave me a comment. I always enjoy hearing from my viewers. I hope to see you again on the next installment of Adventures in Food with Howard. Bye for now.